Hello. Hello, can anybody hear me? Am I here? Am I good? Do, do, do. Mhm. All right, can everybody hear me? If anybody's here and they can hear me, it would super duper helpful if you can hear me. Hey, Hollow Voices, can you hear me? Am I loud enough? Is everything okay? Sweet. All righty. Thank you, Brandy. Okay, so we're going to be painting this little bunny today. And it's a Zealot Miniatures bunny. Just a second, I'm trying to get everything going here. Um, yeah, so it's a super cool mini. It comes in two parts: the nice, calm, super chill guy, and then the vicious, like tear your face off guy. I think it's one of these like they can't actually like license Monty Python, but I mean, for all practical purposes, it's Monty Python. Like, you know. So by the time I'm done with this guy, so this guy's going to be on like grass and just normal stuff, just kind of looking chill and like, oh. And then this guy's going to have like bones and skulls and stuff down here. So, yeah, just something fun. This should not be a long paint at all. The vast majority of the colors are basically shades of white. And then we'll bring in a little bit of pinks and reds, I guess, for some of the mouth and stuff like that. So we'll take a look here and see how that goes. So yeah, this is going to be almost all glazing or almost all layering. It's we're going to use the Pro Acryls. They blend really well, so hopefully I'm not going to have to thin super thin. At this point, all I've done is prime it and put a layer of dark warm gray down. So we're just going to move up. We're going to add a little bit of the light warm gray. So we're going to go, this is going to be the progression here. Dark warm gray, light warm gray, ivory, bright ivory, and then white in the very highest highlights. We might take a little bit of golden brown and kind of put it in the shadows a little bit, warm the shadows up a little bit, we'll see. And then we'll use some of these colors for some of his teeth and gums and or his other bits there. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But right now we're just gonna work up through the colors. I didn't really expect to stream tonight, but I was like, I'm gonna be painting, and your hobby holders are saying, sweet. Um, I didn't really expect to be painting tonight, but with the holder paint tomorrow that I keep promising everybody, I was like, I really need to make sure that this goes well. I really like the hobby holders. Grimforth, you said you've got these same colors. Yeah, they're fantastic. I really just love the fact that if I want to change a fig out, I just unscrew it. So I have like I probably have 20 figs just sitting on bottle caps, ready to paint in one form or fashion. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of this, a little bit of this. We're not going to be thinning down much, but some, just to give us a little control. So we're going to be using a technique for brush control here that there's a Spanish word for it that I don't know that Sergio Calvo preaches. It's just a water bottle. I'm just squirting some water on a paper towel here. But the translation is wet bed. Huh. So, when you've got a lot of paint on your brush, like, see, we've got all this, that's uncontrollable. You can't control that. So we're going to take some of it off up here, but then that's still going to be way too much if I just go to there. Now we can do it on a dry paper towel, okay, but then what happens is it pretty drastically changes the moisture in our brush, and it's going to dry the paint out really fast. So one thing that Sergio preaches is if you do it on a wet and you just real lightly, you just drag it off like that, you still got a nice paintbrush and you have more control over your paint. So this is not going to be anything super crazy here for this. If you watched the last show where I did the ogre, we talked a little bit about painting fur and the fact that what you don't do is try to make fur strokes every stroke. Like you paint the volumes and then you add in some texture right at the end. And that's kind of what we're going to do here. This mini has no texture on it. So what I don't want to try to do is just never done that. Yeah. What we don't want to do is try to add texture over the whole thing. You certainly can, but you got to be really careful, or it turns into just a hot mess. It's a lot easier to define the volumes, and then at the end, especially on some guys like this that are just so small, then we're just going to define the stuff at the end. I might have to put on my handy dandy goggles for these guys. Normally, I don't paint with magnification unless I just absolutely have to, because I find it kind of a pain in the butt. It's handy, it works, I just prefer not to. Hey, thanks for the follow, Kingslake. So I'm gonna try to stream a couple of times a week. So at the very least once a week. Still trying to sort out what a realistic schedule is going to be. I don't know if you guys have suggestions for times that you would rather see, days that you would rather see. Suggest them. I don't know if that's what'll happen, but it's certainly possible. So if you're like, I'd really love it if you would stream on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock at night, then we can see. All right, so I got him down. We covered almost all of the darkest gray there, so we're not doing anything super fancy. Now we're going to go back and we're going to do these figures in simultaneous. And this is just a really small step up from the last one. We're going to be going pretty light here, and so if we make big steps, it's going to get chalky and weird on us really fast, guys. So this is not going to be super thrilling. So we're just going to step our way through it here. But these bunnies have a lot of nostalgia, especially for people who, if you're a Monty Python fan, which a huge amount of like my generation is, if you're a Monty Python fan, then these are definitely going to hold some for you. He's got these little eyes here, and I have not decided exactly how I'm going to do them. I looked at the reference art for them. I don't know who their painter was. He did a pretty good job with these. These are so much smaller than I thought they were going to be when I ordered them. Like, I figured they would be small, but good gracious, these guys are just freaking tiny guys. Like, I was 100% shocked. I got them in and I was like, okay, well, I guess that's happening. I'm just trying to get some nice smooth layers here. Okay. I think I'm going to have to, yeah. I think I'm going to have to put some magnifications on. Excuse me if this makes a room, but let me mute for a second. I don't know how I'm going to get this on with this headset, but we'll see. Wow, that is crazy awkward. Because I'm wearing this big headset, right? And now I have on these goggles. Eventually, I guess I'm gonna get one of these webcams where you guys can watch me act like an idiot while I paint. I don't know. We'll see. Is that something you guys want to see? Do you want to see my facial expressions and all the goofy stuff? Some painters do that, and I don't know. People seem to like it. All right, I think my focus could be a little bit better there. Let me fix that because I'm gonna be. There we go. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to stay right in this realm. All we're doing is we're just defining the volumes here. We're just being real careful here, trying to make sure that I don't cover all the areas that I painted last time, leave a little bit of the previous. These, these pro acryls blend pretty well kind of on their own, so that's a nice feature. You don't have to go super thin, almost glazes, to get some decent blends. These are Creature Caster Pro acryls, or by Monument, I guess, technically who they are. I don't know. They, they're good. They're some of my favorite paints right now. Painting on camera is a weird thing, guys. If you've ever done it, it is a very strange feeling to me. It's like normally I'm very much like, if I make a mistake, it's no big deal. And I know somebody's gonna be like, we want to see the mistakes. Yeah, but I don't really want to make them. Like, I don't really want to be like, oh yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Even though most of the time I really don't. Like, for some reason, I've convinced a bunch of people that I know something. Most days I'm still like, what? Like, everybody's gonna wake up one day and be like, that dude has no idea what he's talking about. That's okay. And I can go back to just painting. So we're working on this guy. This little killer rabbit. Oh, such a cute little rabbit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My kids have been doing cartoons and stuff all day, and somehow we got on the subject of Darkwing Duck, and the Darkwing Duck's theme song has been just stuck in my head all day. Like, let's get dangerous. So, like, I'm just going to be sitting here humming, and it's going to be like, let's get dangerous. You know what, guys? I'm going to have to zoom. I'm going to have to focus that back, aren't I? Yeah. I ended up moving just a little bit. Focus. I wish I could zoom in a little more for you guys, but I just can't. It won't. Let me see. Actually, let me see if I can do this. Mana Mana. I don't know Mana Mana, but based on your, oh, I'm not sure I want to know Mana Mana. Let's try. Let's try that for now. Trying to get you guys a good picture here of something that I can also paint at. Yeah. Mana Mana. Huh? I'll have to think about that one. I was never a big Muppet guy. Yeah, moldy cheese for you. Like, this guy is like epically small. I'm legitimately not sure I would have ordered them if I realized how small they were. They're almost so small that I'm like, I don't really want to paint these. Like, why am I doing this? Yeah, I do have some magnifying lenses on. I will stick a sorry. If you hear me bump something, it's the magnifying lenses. I will stick a link in the either the chat or Facebook group or somewhere to the lenses that I use, because normally I do pretty good without lenses. It's pretty rare for me to use lenses, but I wasn't even going to pretend on this guy passed about the first layer. I just never did Muppets. I have no idea what that is. Maybe I was deprived. Was I deprived of Muppets, y'all? Like, is that something that I need to fix? Should I make sure that my kids are all Muppetified? Alright, so for those who have just recently joined and missed the introduction, this is the bunny from Zealot Miniatures. We are just working up layers right now. We're not really worried about creating fur texture yet, because if we try to do that too early, it's just going to look weird. So right now, what we're doing is we're defining volumes. When we talk about volumes, you probably heard that from painters in the past, and you're like, yeah, that's cool for you to talk about it, but what in the world does that mean when somebody says defining volumes? Because I know that was totally me. Like, when I started out painting, everybody, all the fancy painters, they were like, we're defining volumes with this. We're using the light and shadow to talk about volumes. Okay? And all that really is a fancy way to say we're trying to show the shape of things with light and shadow. So we're just trying to put the highlights and the shadows so that round thing looks round, square thing looks square, things that are higher on a miniature look higher, things that are lower look lower, everything so that things have a shape. That's what we're talking about. So sometimes we separate color from light and shadow. There are times that I will paint something and I'll sketch in most of the volumes before I actually start on any of the color. Alright, so we're going to move significantly brighter here, because I'm worried if I keep going as dark as I am, that I'm not going to leave myself any room to put in the really brights. So we're going to bring this guy up, hopefully a lot brighter here, because he needs to look pretty white. Yeah, there we go. So he has all this great detail in the face, but good gracious, it's just itty bitty. He's got all these lines and wrinkles and all this fun stuff. But I wish he'd have been like twice the size, and they would have been like, yeah, it's not a realistic size for Bunny, but that's okay because he's not a realistic bunny. Not like this guy is ever gonna go roam the streets for real. All right, Grimforth, good trick for volume. Take a picture of your mini painted, make it black and white. Yeah, so that's typically what we recommend for contrast. It'll help you see if you got enough contrast. Where you could do a little more. So that's for sure. So most of his back here is going to be pretty bright. So I'm not super worried about getting solid coverage right now. If it's a little patchy, that's okay, because we're going to add in a little bit of texture later. So it's okay if he's a little patchy. He just can't be like weird. Wow, those are microscopic. Exactly. Yeah, that's what everybody popping in is like. Holy cow, they like really are tiny. They really are. I'm trying to think about what the smallest thing I probably painted is. It might be these guys. I'm not sure. Mm, all right, we're just coming back, and then we're going to go to the other guy here in a moment. So on a bunny that's all white, we still want to try to make the face the brightest thing because that's kind of what the eye is drawn to, is the brightest thing. He's got a big old tongue sticking out there that we're going to have to deal with at some point. I'm using a size 1 Raphael brush for this, which, you know, if you look, the brush is about the size of the Mini. So it feels like an absolutely gargantuan brush for this, but it's got a great point on it. And if we did a smaller brush, it'd be way too easy to introduce too much texture. So we're just going up nice and slow. We're still just on this this Pro-Acryl light gray, light warm gray. So, and we're about to finish up this guy, move on to the other guy with him, and then we're going to move up to some bright ivory. Some ivory and then bright ivory. Ivory colors from Pro-Acryl, oh, I love them. They're some of my favorite colors. So you can see this guy's already starting to, we're getting some color in the right places here. He's got a little weirdness, but nothing that can't come out. All right, so we're gonna let him go. We'll come back to our friendly Mr. Friendly Rabbit. Yay! He looks so cute and docile, and then he'll tear your throat out. All right, everybody, what's your favorite movie? The reason I'm asking, in case somebody doesn't know, is that these would typically be considered from Monty Python. That's kind of has to be where they're inspired from, in case you don't know. So favorite movies, give it to me. And yeah, champion these brushes. They're really good. They just are. They're some of my favorites for sure. And I know several other pro painters that love these brushes. So it's not like I'm the only one out there that's like, these are good brushes. They really are. How can you see these? They'd be small. Yeah, I'm blessed with good eyes. That's part of it, to be honest. Like, I'm partially deaf in actually, like in actuality, like especially in situations where it's hard to hear, like a noisy restaurant or something. Like, I absolutely have the worst time hearing people, but I have really good eyes. And I also have magnification, which obviously helps. All right. We're just, his face is looking a little wonky, but that's because some of the white got on his eye. Where his eye is going to be a different color. We will cover that later. Okay, I think white and black are typically the hardest colors. All right, so movies. Eden says Lego Movie 2. Really, I like the first Lego movie better than the second one. I don't know. The second one just didn't do it for me. I but you know they're good movies overall. I I was a huge Lego person growing up. Okay. I don't have a favorite movie. I just like 2 to 3 from each genre. Movie depends on the mood. Zombie movies are my go-to, classic or new. Yeah, I can probably count the number of zombie movies I've seen on one hand, y'all. Like, it's not good. I don't know. That's just never been my thing. I'm trying to decide if I'm regretting not painting these eyes first. Normally, I paint the eyes first, but on these, I was like, there's so much else to the miniature that I didn't really want to like do the eyes and then all the rest of this painting and accidentally hit the eyes because I feel like I would have. But now I'm wondering if I'm going to have a hard time making out exactly where the eyes are. We will see. I also debated if I should do these guys on stream at all, given that it's really hard to to see what I'm doing necessarily, but I should do them on stream, that is. But, I figured I'd be painting anyways. If you guys want to hop on, you can. Okay, we are. That's maybe a little too harsh right there. Gonna come back in with a little bit of this, and a little bit of this. This line right here is just, there we go. I'm just gonna soften up some of the shadows where I feel like maybe I took it a little too extreme. I did. I just mixed an intermediate tone there, and I'm just going back and hitting some of those places. I think I started darker than I probably wanted. Mm-hmm. It's a good test run for the new internet. Yeah, that was the goal here. Is that I really needed to test out the new internet, make sure that I was good for it. The I was about ready to punch. I just hit that. I was about ready to punch that old internet in the face. That is as zoomed in as I can go. I have attempted to zoom as much as I can, at least on my end. Let me see. I don't think I can. No. Yeah, they're zoomed out. That's as zoomed in as I can see. There might be a way to do it, but I'm not familiar enough with with OBS to do it yet. So we'll have to see. Oh, you can. Oh, that's good. All right, this guy I'm a little happier with my contrast with my blends. Just trying to see if I need to come back in and hit anything where it's just like. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so far none of these colors are actually anything that I would consider terribly bright, like the colors themselves. The second gray is definitely on the edge of bright, but they're not really that bright. Okay, how do you zoom in on Twitch? Yeah, somebody else is gonna have to say. I think they pointed that out. Oh, I don't like that at all. Sometimes you just miss areas where it's like, ooh, that's That's gross. I missed highlighting the inside of his arms there a little bit. And you guys were going to be like, oh no, it's fine. You didn't. You totally did that. Cheek there. Okay. Yep. Alrighty. Alright, so at this point we've got some lights and shadows. You know, he definitely looks bunnyish. He's starting to look white. So now we're going to move up to ivory. When you're doing white, you do not start with white. Like if you start with white, you got nowhere to go. I suppose you could start white and go down, but most people have a harder time doing that. You certainly can, but most people have an easier time going up. Although, to be honest, I think it's probably easier to go down on bright colors. Oh, alrighty. My focus is just so hard on this little tiny guy. It's so hard to keep him in a good focus for you guys. I'm going to have to thin this out a little more. Okay, so you can see we're still not really defining any kind of hair. We're only going to bother doing that in the very final highlight. We're just going to give him a few kind of quick strokes of actual white, and it will help give him the appearance of a little bit of fur without being too crazy. I think black is the other color that's really difficult to do. I think the difference then oh, thank you for following Jmore64. Jarmore64. So the difference typically with black versus white for me on these kind of guys is with white, you typically come back in and blend that somehow. I'm going to blend that neckline somehow. I just haven't decided. I'm not really liking whatever I do there. It just doesn't seem to really play nicely. So black versus white. Black, like you kind of have to start with black, and then you have to leave way more of it black than you probably want to. Because the moment that you do too much of anything else, it goes blue or gray or purple, whatever you start shading with, really fast. So the rule is you have to leave like 50 to 60% of it like actually black, which is just like crazy to me. I remember this one time I was making Darth Vader, right? And Darth Vader is like the worst. Is like the worst thing to paint because he's like all black, which is like the demon color, right? You can't send me bits off my phone, probably because I am not yet like a high enough Twitch tier to do that. I think you have to be at least one more level up. So since I've just started twitching, like I don't have all the like you can't subscribe to me, you can't do any of that kind of stuff yet. But like I'm almost there already. Like this is like my second stream and I'm almost there. so it won't be long. Honestly, though, I have no idea what bits are. Somebody more familiar with Twitch want to tell me what bits are? Why I should care about them, huh? Oh, thanks for following Mythos1026. We're just bunnying up here. He's starting to look super white on your screen. I'm going to do the other one, and then I'm going to turn the exposure back down. We're going from kind of one extreme to the other, so I altered the exposure for you guys. But I think it's making it a little too bright now. What do you think? Should we have music, guys? Is that something we should do? Should we add music to the channel? Music sounds good. I'm just a little concerned about like what to play. That guy's looking rough on the blends. We're gonna have to come back in here. Let's smooth him out afterwards. So what I'll do if I don't like some of the blends on what I've done here, is I'll come back in afterward with some glazes and just kind of smooth things out, guys. And be like, well, be careful of copyright issues. Yeah, I know that's a thing as far as music goes. I'm a little perplexed because I see other Twitch people all the time having quite a bit of music on their channel. I'm like, okay, clearly they don't own the rights to all these songs. So what is going on? Sorry for bumping the camera there, guys. I'm just really close on this little tiny guy here. Oh my gosh, this guy's so small. I'm going to come back in and blend a little bit of these. Take some mid-tone kind of. Let's go a little bit darker. I think bits are money. If bits are money, that's good. I have no idea. So I'm just going to blend some of these things out a little bit. I definitely think I started too dark on this guy. There we go. He's coming together here. Like having to really fight the urge not to like pull out the airbrush and do something, but like it would be so easy to screw this guy up with an airbrush. Like, oh man, I might have to cut this short a little bit tonight. I'm afraid I might have broken my arm a little bit earlier today. I know a little bit, right? When they were putting the new internet in, they had to keep our puppy dog in the bathroom to keep him from going nuts too much. And what I didn't realize is while he was in there, he was slobbering all over the floor. And when I came back in afterwards to get him, I slipped on the floor and took a pretty bad fall and caught myself. And my this arm is just not feeling good at all. I'm sitting here holding this like this. It's starting to go a little numb. Oh, all right. Hollow Voices. It's funny that these are bunnies. Most days when I pull into my drive, I see anywhere from 2 to 5 rabbits. And whenever I see you step out of the car and yell "bunny" at them, and they run away. Well, hopefully one of them doesn't like go all this on you, and you're like, and we never hear from you again. If we never hear from you again, we're blaming the bunnies. That work? All right, so right now I'm just going and smoothing out some blends so that I can get a better sense of where we're at. Just making some mixes up here, smoothing a few things out. Because as I go higher, I don't really want to be too stark with everything. Oh, nice. I think he's looking pretty good. I'm overall pretty happy with this guy. What animal are you most afraid of? Like, what just terrifies you? You're very excited for the beholder. Me too. I have painted a lot of beholders, so that should be nice and fun. Alrighty, here we are. So I've never actually watched Critical Role. I keep meaning to, but I've never actually watched it before. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm just going through smoothing things out, and then I'll bring some stuff back up. Yeah, Brandy, if it gets any worse, I'm gonna have to go to the doctor tomorrow. So, but yeah, I think it'll be okay. I still have full movement and everything. I talked with a medical friend, and they said it's probably just a bad sprain based on the range of movement that I have and stuff like that. Okay, so now I'm doing real thin layers of my ivory now. I'm having to go real thin with this because I'm trying to avoid it getting all chalky on me. We're just going to have to work up really thin. And we are just trying to keep it where you guys can see. Painting bunnies, painting bunnies. He's looking like a pretty happy little bunny. Especially, I think, once we get those cute little eyes. Okay, let's do one more of this guy with the real thin lays here. It'll help kind of even him out a little bit. He's looking kind of rough in some places. Okay. So we still have not moved even really that close to our highest point yet. We are still, for a white rabbit, we're still firmly in midtones, but we're just about to move up because the next step's going to be the bright ivory, and that's going to be the majority of the mid-tone kind of thing. All right, Brandy, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. So the bright ivory is going to be the majority of the highlight for the wabbit. What do you think, guys? Is he looking pretty cool? He's looking like a rabbit. I think he's looking very rabbity. Wabbity. Alrighty. We're going really thin with this. This is the bright ivory. This is a pretty bright color. If I went too thick with this, I'd be way more concerned about it going chalky on me. So we are doing real thin bits here. Just trying to catch just the highest points here. Don't know if I'm going to be able to use these guys like I wanted them, though. I really wanted to use him in a competition diorama, but I think the casting just isn't quite like I need it to be to do that. Not bad, but I don't think it's quite what I need it to be. So we're doing thin bright ivory, and all we're doing is just hitting the high points here. Trying to make sure that he looks nice and white. Okay, I think he's about good to go. Okay. Now for the sweet little bunny, the sweet one. I'm just going to do the same thing here. We're just going to come in. We're just trying to catch the high points here. And see, he immediately starts to look white there. Okay. I just don't like the back of this surface back here, though. That guy just bothers me. I can't seem to make him look like I want him to look. I think I gotta step down on it and come back up. So we're gonna go back down. If I tried to put that brighter color in there, it would just look really chalky. There we go. That's a little better. So the technique that I just did, that I kind of snuck in on you guys right there, was a little bit of feathering. So I put it down, like that. And then I got my brush just damp. I just took that edge and I just cleaned the edge of it up. You know, I'm gonna clean up this line right here. Alrighty. I'm gonna take that up one more time in that little area. When working in that small area, the trick is you have to let it dry. If you don't let it dry, then it is all done. Making music for tomorrow. Alrighty. We're gonna take just a little bit of this. I'm just going through and re-highlighting some of the bits here, make sure they're nice and like we want them. Still using just the thin colors of bright ivory. Now we're going to move on to white. And what we're going to do here is we're going to move down to a smaller brush. Not small, but smaller. And then we're just going to go, this is a Raphael size 0. Size 0. And it's just going to make sure that I don't accidentally leave a huge brush stroke. That's the goal, at least. So we're just going to put little daggers just to help suggest a little bit of hair. And only in the high points. Almost never with your highlights. On your very highest highlights, almost never you want to make an actual like brush stroke where you're just like actually a full on brush stroke. So as I'm evaluating this, I'm noticing two things. This inner part right here is too dark, and this part back here is still too dark. Looks too gray. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring them up. Alrighty. It's gonna take a few layers and techniques here to get a good blend on that, but that's the gist of what we want. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, whoever's left in here, I'm heading out. My arm is killing me, so I need to save it for tomorrow. It looks like the stream works, and that was the important part. All right, thanks for chatting.